Hey, this is Pastor Dave, and this is your Monday Mojo. Hope you had a great weekend. I know I did. So, yesterday, right after church, hopped in the car, Laura and I did, and went and picked up her daughter, Danielle, who had been wanting to go see some alpacas. Now, Laura and I stayed at a place a couple of years ago called Heritage Farm up in Flora, Indiana. Now, I'm telling you, if you ever want a place to get away, contact Tim and Beth at Heritage Farm. They're awesome people. They have awesome gift of hospitality. And they also have an alpaca farm. We stayed in an old log cabin that they have on the premise that was moved there. It's over 180 years old. And so if you need a place to get away, not high tech, it's an awesome place for a night. And they're awesome people. But Danielle wanted to see some alpacas, so we drove up to Florida, yesterday. And we got to see these guys. Are they not the cutest things in the world? Let's see. And some goats, yeah. And this guy here, he is our tour guide, who you're about to hear about, told us was a bad boy. He liked to get outside of the containment. Anyway, we got there and we just showed up unannounced. We hadn't made any plans or reservations. We just wanted to see the animals. And here was Tim with his granddaughter. I'm just going to call her TG for safety's sake, who is 6 years old. And she overheard us. We rolled down the window and we said, we're just here to look at the animals. And she said, Grandpa, I'll take them and show them the animals. And that she did. He gave her a bag of goat treats that he wanted to take up to the barn, and so she led us up to the barn carrying that bag of goat treats, which was probably weighed about a third of her weight. 6 years old, we just followed her right up to the barn. She took us to the pen where the pregnant goat was, showed us where the goat feed was, gave Danielle some goat treats to go inside the pen and give to the goat. She showed us the baby alpacas, and she showed us the mama alpacas. And then she showed us one out in the field. She said, oh goodness, there's one little baby that, for whatever reason, he's a picky eater. He won't eat the hay. He just wants his mama's milk. And so he stays with his mama outside the pen. So she decided that she was going to go and try and round him up. And watching her try to round up this alpaca was like watching a border collie. She just ran and ran and ran. She showed us the secret way into the goat pen for somebody her size and not ours. She took us on a tour out and showed us where the boy goats were, the daddy goats, and she took us to an area where there's a new suspension bridge they built and a path. And I still had my dress shoes on, so we were kind of like, well, we can't really hike this. But she was an amazing 6-year-old little girl who was our tour guide, and it was clear she knew all the ins and outs of Heritage Farm. It was also clear that Grandpa trusted her to be able to take us around. And he trusted us. I'm telling you, if you want a fun afternoon, pop up there. And even better, make a reservation at the old log cabin. But it got me thinking. It reminded me of a time when I went to see Donald Miller, and he was talking about God, and I've mentioned this once before, and he said, instead of God being this one who's given us the specific, direct directions on what we're supposed to do with our life, Donald Miller says, I think he's more like a father who sits down with us and gives us a bunch of chalk on the concrete floor, and he says, what do you want to draw? As I watched Tim with his granddaughter, TG, that's the way he was. He was like, you go right ahead. Here's the goat treats. You take them up there and show them around. And boy, she did. And it was amazing. It was a lot of fun. And I think sometimes many of us are searching for, God, just tell me exactly what you want me to do and where you want me to go. And God has a lot more faith in us than we do, I think. I think God says, here's the crayons, here's the chalk, here's the gifts, here's the talent, here's the skill, here's the atmosphere, here's the community, here's the church, here's the work job, here's the neighborhood you live in. And God says, draw, be a tour guide. Anyway, TG was a good one yesterday. And we had a lot of fun with with our friends, the alpacas. They're so cute. And I believe God is saying to us, let's be tour guides. Let's show people what this life is all about. Anyway, that's your Monday Mojo. Have a great week.